continuing with our discussion on Ibrahim alayhi salam, in Surah Al-An'am, Allah says, "And we also showed Ibrahim the wonders of the heavens and the earth, so he would be sure in faith. When the night grew dark upon him, he saw a star and said, 'This is my Lord.' But when it set, he said, 'I do not love things that set.' Then when he saw the moon rising, he said, 'This one is my Lord.' But when it disappeared, he said, 'If my Lord does not guide me, I will certainly be one of the misguided.' Then when he saw the sun shining, he said, 'This must be my Lord. It is the greatest.' But again, when it said, he declared, 'O my people, I totally reject whatever you associate with Allah in worship. I have turned my face towards the one who has originated the heavens and the earth, being upright, and I am not one of the polytheists.'" Now, in the previous episode, I discussed the fact that Ibrahim alayhi salam, at a very young age, was known for being inquisitive, reflecting, and searching for the truth. This makes his story unique because the other prophets either had a father to guide them towards Islam, or they were residing in an area where the concept of monotheism and tawheed did exist alongside polytheism. However, in the case of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was living in a time and in a city ruled by a king where the only ideology that existed was the worship of idols. These verses further confirm that when you ask questions and you search for logic with an open mind and a clean heart, Allah's guidance will come. Now, the verses that I quoted in the beginning were verses 75 to 79 of Surah Al-An'am, and verse 75 mentions that Ibrahim was shown the wonders of the heavens and the earth so that he would be certain in faith, he would be sure. Now, some scholars believe that this implies Ibrahim alayhi salam was a prophet at this time, and he was taken up to the skies and he was shown the entire universe and all the galaxies so that he would have absolute certainty in Islam. He would have absolute yaqeen. Now, while this might be true, Allah knows best, I believe that at this moment, Ibrahim was still not a prophet. Because if he was a prophet, Jibreel would be coming to him with Allah's revelations. And if the angel Jibreel is coming, then a prophet would automatically have absolute certainty in God's message. He would not need to see a miracle to be certain that Islam is the right way and that Allah is the one true God. He would not need to see anything else to have absolute yaqeen. Seeing an angel, meeting Jibreel is more than enough. So the fact that the verse mentions him being shown the wonders of the universe with the intention that he will have certainty implies that he could not have been a prophet at this stage. Now, continuing on with this line of reasoning, if Ibrahim alayhi salam at this stage is not a prophet, he's just someone who is trying to search for the truth, then it's not possible that Allah raised him to the skies, showed him the entire universe and the galaxies as a miracle. In which case, then we have to ask this question, what does Allah mean that Allah showed him the wonders of the heavens and the earth? You have to interpret the verse based on the context. The next verses reveal Ibrahim's argument regarding the sun, moon, and stars and how these cannot be gods. So in my opinion, the actual interpretation of these verses is that since we know Ibrahim alayhi salam asked questions even when he was young and he never worshipped idols, we know that he believed there has to be one creator of everything. He was never into polytheism. And since we also know that everyone worshipped idols at that time, and there was no concept of monotheism in that particular area or in that city of Ur during the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, there was no one to confirm Ibrahim's belief of monotheism. So there was no one at that time who could listen to Ibrahim alayhi salam and tell him that he was right. Monotheism does exist, and the truth is there is only one God. So imagine there's this one boy who is raising objections regarding idol worship, and as he gets older, he keeps asking questions, he keeps raising objections, and there's nobody who seems to be understanding where he's coming from. There is no one in the city who can understand what Ibrahim alayhi salam is trying to say, or who can agree with him that yes, it doesn't make sense to worship any of these idols. So clearly, if you are surrounded by negative people, surrounded by toxicity, everyone around you is worshipping idols, and you are the only one who is raising objections, the only one who believes that the truth is something else. The truth is far greater than all of this. There has to be one creator. Eventually, all that negativity gets to you. All of that toxicity gets to you, and you start to doubt yourself because you need someone to confirm your belief. So to give him that yaqeen and that certainty that yes, you're on the right path. There is definitely one God. All of these idols, worshipping them makes no sense. In order to give him that yaqeen, Allah therefore made him observe and reflect on the skies and the earth. So Allah showed him the wonders of the skies and the earth, implying Allah made him observe and reflect on the skies and the earth. Ibrahim alayhi salam started to wonder, how is it that everything is working in such an orderly fashion? All of these celestial bodies, sun, moon, stars, they all are working in such an orderly fashion. It's as if they're being controlled by a higher power. In fact, this is one of the means that Allah chooses to communicate with His slaves. Sometimes, when you keep searching for the answer, Allah just puts the wisdom in your heart, and suddenly you have a light bulb moment, and everything appears so clear, and then you have yaqeen that you're on the right path. Even if nobody agrees with you, even if nobody understands you, you suddenly have this immense strong feeling in your heart that you're on the right path, and what you're saying is actually correct. Now, of course, we can ask, why make Ibrahim alayhi salam focus on the celestial bodies in the universe? If Allah had to give Ibrahim alayhi salam that yaqeen, that certainty, that monotheism is in fact correct, you are on the right path, Allah could have chosen anything else. Why make Ibrahim alayhi salam focus on the wonders of the sun, moon, and stars? And the answer to that is because the people of that region worshipped celestial bodies. They worshipped the sun, moon, and stars. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, through his observation and guidance from Allah, explained to his own people that there has to be one God who is always present, who is controlling everything, and who's always there. The sun appears to be very strong and powerful, but it sets, so it cannot be God. The stars and moon disappear during the daytime. They appear in the night, and they appear to be beautiful. But they're just not there during the daytime. That cannot be God. A God has to be someone who's so powerful, but who's always there. He's always there to listen to your prayers. He's always there to help you. So these celestial bodies appear to be mighty and strong. They appear to be beautiful, but they're not always present. And God always has to be present. So the important thing to remember is that it's not that Ibrahim was worshipping these things and later he realized that these cannot be God. It's not like he looked at the sun for the first time in his life and suddenly realized, oh, this is beautiful, it has to be God. And then he realized that because it sets, it cannot be God. He never was a polytheist. It wouldn't make sense to believe that at one point in time he was worshipping the sun, moon, and stars, because this is the same man who was arguing against polytheism with his father ever since he was a child. On the contrary, he was never worshipping any of these things. He was just making an argument to prove to his people that he's right about monotheism. In fact, later verses that we will discuss in the upcoming episodes confirm that Allah gave this line of reasoning to Ibrahim. Allah put it in his heart so that he provided this argument to his people to make them understand. Now notice how people at that time did not have a lot of information regarding planets, stars, galaxies, but this simple demonstration proves that you don't need that level of knowledge. You don't need that level of scientific information for you to deduce monotheism or tawheed. Just reflecting on how things appear and set in a timely fashion is enough for a wise person to realize that none of these are fit to be gods. In fact, each appears to be controlled by something far superior. And also note that in the last verse I quoted, which is verse 79, Ibrahim alayhi salam mentions that he is a Hanif. In other words, in the translation, when he tells his people that he is not a polytheist and he is upright, the word that is used in Arabic is Hanif. He doesn't call himself a Muslim, nor does he tell the people that he has been sent as a messenger, so he should be followed. This further proves that at this point in time, he was not a prophet. He's calling himself a Hanif, which means a believer in only one God. He's introducing a new concept in a region where monotheism did not exist and people didn't even know about it. Through Allah's guidance, Ibrahim was teaching people the concept of Tawheed. He didn't know how to worship that one true God because he wasn't a prophet right now, but he did know that there is only one God deserving of praise and worship. So what we learn from this is the significance of being persistent when you are searching for the truth. Don't give up easily. Keep an open mind and a clean heart, regardless of the negativity, regardless of the toxic comments that people might give you to try and pull you down. Listen to your heart Trust your instincts, because many times that's how Allah will choose to communicate with you. Assalamu alaikum.